All the fools' rules running these lands. I had my head in the sand, and I was asleep. Now I learn a little more every day, and I'm waking the sheep. Gonna say it out loud, say it proud, get it out, 'cause I'm burning inside, cannot hide it no more. I'm a raconteur too. Yeah, I'm a raconteur too. Oh, I'm a raconteur too. Oh, the people in the chat room singing. Oh, I'm a raconteur too. One more time now. Oh, I'm a raconteur too.
Good evening and welcome to Raconteurs News. I'm Jason Holmes, and it's a Monday night. I'll get this right. It's definitely from the start because Andy last week decided to change the days around. But anyway, it is Monday night. It's the 6th of August and it's 2018 as well. So we're getting quite close to the end of the year. It's fucking what a year it's been. I hope you've had a great weekend, and I hope you've been doing some good stuff and enjoying the sunshine and all that sort of stuff. Myself, I've unfortunately this weekend I've had a little bit of a big. It's a big, massive sore bollock. Shall we just put into? We'll just put it into layman's terms. But I've had this big, fat, juicy bollock that's arrived, and it's quite painful. And it's also inflicting me stump as well, so it's making me stump quite painful as well. So, but the one good point about it is when you ring the doctors up in the morning, you say you want to see a doctor, and the receptionist inevitably asks you what the problem is, and I say, oh, my bollock's swollen up massive, and I'm pissing blood. So what do you think? So got us in over the weekend, and even. Would you believe this? I got a phone call from a GP on a Sunday at lunchtime. So I got a phone call. The GP was so concerned at my huge bollock. I don't know whether because he made me come back 2 days in a row. I don't know whether he were just wanting to check on it or whatever. But great service I've had from the NHS this particular weekend anyway, and it's always good to try and wind up receptionists. Right, hello to everybody that's listening, everybody that goes into the chat room. We're on Facebook Live. We're on Facebook Live with Andy as well on Raconteurs News, and Andy is joining me as well. He's the other co-presenter this evening. Andy, how you doing, mate? All right.
Hi, mate. I'm brilliant. I've spent most of this afternoon in a paddling pool. So I've been splashing my grandson. He's been splashing me. And considering when we left Peterborough, it was about 36 degrees, it was most welcome. And I was just thinking, funny you should mention the NHS there, because I had an interesting conversation with a good friend yesterday. And we spoke a long while back. I think it was September to November time last year. He'd got lung cancer, and the hospital, when he refused chemo, they says, well, you better get your affairs in order, go home, make sure you get your funeral planned, because you're dying anytime soon. And he had a bit of a chest infection in April, so he got admitted to hospital. So he suddenly got a visit at his bedside from two doctors, stony-faced. And they said, we've got some news for you, sir. He said, oh, yeah, what's that? They said, your cancer, it's all gone. You better go home.
Wow.
Oh, thanks. And no sort of inquiry as to, oh, how did that happen? Or congratulations, sir. Just your cancer's gone. Off you go. Well, kind of, you know, for those people out there who, oh, well, the doctors don't know. It's not there. They fucking well know. Yeah,
of course they do. Yeah, and people do that, and it's it's got some merit as well, because not that the doctors don't know, it's just that the doctors can't know, if you know what I mean. I think that's the realistic part about it. But let's get on to tonight.
Before we do, Sots in the YouTube says it's good. It serves you right for mentioning such a horrible thing. And Doug Maddox is saying, "Evening, Andy. Evening, Big Bollock."
Yeah, and it is a big bollock as well. First of all, I'd like to say as well, if Super Leeds is watching, I watched your boys yesterday. Is listening. I watched your boys yesterday, and I were quite impressed with not the colour scheme or the ground or anything like that, but just with the way that they played yesterday. And they look like they're going to be big challengers for the championship this year. But that's enough football. Let's get on to tonight's guest. We've had people requesting our guest this evening for many moons, and we've not been able to get him on, but tonight we've managed to loosen him up enough. He's sat there on his with his arm up in the air. He's doing all this stuff. It's Heath Dwetht. How you doing, Heath?
Hello, mate. Finally on the show.
Finally on the show, yeah.
Yeah, how's it going? I was thinking your testicle. I think we live in a bit of a selfie culture, so it's just a matter of time before someone, gets the camera with your testicle and takes a nice photo. That selfie.
Well, what I was thinking of doing is drawing a face on it myself, and then myself, lifting it up to my head and doing a sideways thing. But I don't think I'll be able to stretch to that.
Have you shown it to anyone yet?
Only doctor and my wife. And the people in the queue at the co-op, and
well, I'm just thinking maybe drawing a face on it's maybe not such a good idea, because you did that with your elbow and it fucking burst. So I don't think that's maybe such a good plan with your bollock, is it?
Well, you see, you might think it burst, but for me, it just spewed up because it had an ugly face.
No.
You got to draw a sad face, and like anyone you see it, will be like, "Oh, isn't it cute?"
Oh, Heath, we're just losing your level. You're losing your voice a little bit when you lean forward.
All right, but I'm going to lean back a bit because my beer's over there. So
we've got you perfect when you just sat there. Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. So, what do you want to talk about then?
Well, we wanted to. We're gonna. I think we're gonna have a little bit of live music. You've got your old Joanna next to you.
I'm really crap at playing piano. I kind of just got a book and learned all the chords and stuff, and just basically use it for writing songs and shit like that. And
what do you do? What we've all heard your songs. We've all been listening to your songs for the last.
I know, you poor bastards.
But what sort of process do you have, or do you have ideas in your head already that you need to develop? Yeah, like you might have a number of ideas in your head that you try to develop. I know that when I'm your best mate, I probably know you better than everybody except perhaps your wife and your mother. But what sort of process do you have? Like ideas that are running around in your head, and then suddenly something will attach itself to it, and you'll go, right, that's what I need to do with that. And how does it work?
So I used to work on the cruise ships.
Yeah,
and I used to we used to have so much time. Once we got all the passengers off, it's not just doing the shows and everything in the evening. As soon as all the passengers have got off, you've got all that daytime, bit of rehearsing and stuff like that for the next show, new material, shit weather, situations that occur, you kind of do. But then you've got loads of time off, and you don't, sometimes you're up so early and you're awake so late at night, when running everything, that you just you can't be asked to go out. Sometimes you go out onto like wherever you are in the world and go and have a look around and that. But sometimes you just can't be asked. And we had a piano in the show lounge on the ship that I was on, called the Atalante in Cyprus. And I basically just went on it. You know, I just used to sit on it, and I just used to. I think I knew 3 chords: C, F, and G, which, you know, you can probably sing a million songs just with those 3 chords. Very, very, you know, simple chords. So I learned those, and I just started writing a song. And this is kind of in my mid-20s, and at that time I was like, obviously not on the ship, but when I came home, I used to enjoy a bit of a joint, you know what I mean? So that kind of became the first song that I ever wrote, which was Marijuana, MGA. Yeah. So I wrote that one on board the ship in my mid-20s, and it's only kind of recently when I got back that I've kind of finished with the ships. Obviously, got married, had a child, and my ship life was over. So I was trying to fill this void of working so many hours, 7 days a week, you know, Christmas, New Year, everything, just always working. So I got this. I was kind of slowly putting a bit of a studio together and started writing songs. So the first one I did was Marijuana, and I kind of just started playing around and tinkling and recording. I got some software that I first used on, I think it was the PlayStation, called Music Maker. They had and I made some really crazy shit. I think you've got one of them, haven't you? The Hips. That one. Do you remember?
Oh, God, I've got to get that out and dig it out. I know we're going to play that today.
It's crazy. I made a Halloween song on it, and I like, you know, recording these screams and wailing, and then I kind of changed the pitch of them so they went really deep, like a fucking monster sounds. And I made a Halloween track and stuff. I don't think you've heard that one, but I'll send it to you. I found it out the other day, that one. So, but yeah, so now the process is I'll sit down and I'll look through the chord book of all the chords, and I'll learn a couple of different chords that I kind of don't generally use all the time. Because when you sing, you sing in a certain key, yeah? And so my key, I'll sing pretty much in F, which is... Ooh, yeah. That kind of is my sweet area, my sweet spot where I can sing. Not too high, not too low, just nice in the middle. And you just kind of just think, right, I'll play around, hit a few notes. And then you think, right, let's write a song. So then you go back to the memories then, and you think back over your life, and you think of a certain incident, you know, that maybe sticks out. Like, I don't know, recently I've just got this image of when we were kids. I was thinking like, what kids nowadays, they're just stuck to their gadgets, and sorry, I just kicked my mic there, and they're stuck to the internet, you know what I mean? And maybe they'll venture out for a kick around of football and that. Whereas when we were kids, growing up in Dinno, entertainment for us was sitting on top of a bus stop, you know, like gobbing. Something, you know,
you're indestructible on top of a bus stop.
Yeah, well, they used to have concrete bus stops then, didn't you? You could like climb up, and and there'd always like a few kids that couldn't get up, weren't there?
Yeah, you pull them up and then wouldn't let them down.
Yeah, they couldn't get back down again. So yeah, so little memories like that, you know, that just kind of come to you, and you think, all right, then what else? Where did I come from? Where did I go? You know, what did I do? And you kind of, just write it down and then,
there's a lot of that in your songs as well. I mean, particularly "Boy from Sheffield." I mean, that resonated. It resonated tons with me, obviously, because I lived it with you. But for anybody that was around at that time in the sort of early to mid 80s, that was around, that was probably wagging school a little bit like we were, you know, every 2 minutes. A lot of the stuff in "Boy from Sheffield" all resonates with that, doesn't it? And you've even managed to get the Wiggies in, which was necessarily a Sheffield thing, but it was just
an iconic thing, isn't it? Yeah. But, and the hole in the road, you know, I dug up some great pictures of the hole in the road. I made a little bit of a video for that one, didn't I, as well? And I kind of, when I have a little bit of a slowdown of the thought process, I'll think, all right, I'll just stop putting some images and taking some footage and making a video for it, you know, until the next song comes along into your mind. But when did you actually come down and sell some stuff in the hole in the road with me, or did?
I think I did a few times, but I got a little bit weirded out by Chico, to be honest.
Chico. The boy that turned out to be a girl.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, which fits in today. Hopefully today with today's agenda.
Better than being the other way around, though, isn't it? You know, we could have got caught out big time there, couldn't we?
Yeah, old Chico. There were, I mean, again, there's all these people, all these characters, that many people, in fact, most people will have forgotten. I mean, there'll be people, unless they knew Chico at the time, or they knew those two guys that we used to hang about with, God, with the sheepskin coats on.
Yeah, Darren, and Feel Me Tits, Darren.
I mean, it was just crazy, the old thing. So I know that there's a lot of memories to get into, and you do incorporate a lot of that into your records.
Yeah, that's how it is. You know, pretty much all my songs are stories. They're all. I've got Calais, which was just a complete piss up. I go down to a mate of mine. He's like 75. He's great guy called Spencer, and we go on a wine run, and we just. But when we get down there on the night before, he's a really good seasoned drinker, whereas I'm a bit of a lightweight in comparison. So I go down the night before, have a session, get absolutely blotto, and then the next day I've got to drive all the way to fucking Calais, grannied, you know, still kind of just a little bit in the system still, you know. And so I wrote a song. Just it's basically storytelling. That's what I do. It's not, you know, oh, you know. I don't like, so I fucking hate songs that, you know, oh, fucking all night long and all that bollocks. I hate those kind of songs. I like stories, you know, tell a good story, tell a true story. And yeah, that's basically what I do. That's it. Oh, can I go now?
Can I just jump in there? And for me, my personal favorite, and I think it really, really shows off your voice and the range that you've got, Heath, is Boat on the River.
Yeah, nice.
What's the story behind that one, dude?
I'd never heard of that one before, and it's my wife is from Bulgaria, and when going over there, and obviously on a lot of the ships that I was on, we had a lot of Bulgarian musicians, Bulgarian bands, and I'd never heard of that song at all. I've not even heard of the band called the Sticks, and just through Bulgaria, I heard this song, and everybody, every musician, every band knows it over there. You know, I also found out that the band Sticks toured around here, around the Northeast and around UK, and they were very, very popular in their day in the 70s. So
I remember, was it STYX?
What? Yes, exactly. That's them.
I remember them. Yeah, I remember YouTube.
Yeah, they were a little bit rocky, but this particular song, "Boat on the River," the one they do is really folky. It's got all the folk instruments, and it's just a haunting, really enchanting. It's a beautiful song. So I decided just to have a little play around, and that's the version you got, was just me having a play around with that one and cover it. So I've not covered many songs, but I did when I was kind of learning the software that I use. It's called a DAW, a digital audio workstation that I use in the studio. When I didn't know how to use it at first, so I just was experimenting with stuff, and that kind of was one of the things I experimented with, just putting building blocks of, you know, music together, and then testing out, you know, my old mic. This is my old mic that I'm using now. The boy from Sheffield and all that was recorded on. That's the one I'm using. I've packed the good one away, which I showed you earlier. You didn't see all the rice. It's full of rice, you know, to absorb all the moisture, because it's such a bloody temperamental mic. But yeah, it's a cracker. So yeah, that's.
I've just had a quick look on YouTube, and "Babe" is the song that I remember from Styx.
Oh, I don't know that one. Babe.
Yeah, it was quite a standard in its day.
Was it one of the more rockier ones, like the melody rock kind of stuff?
1980 Styx, "Babe." Can you hear that?
Yeah. Oh, you're frozen there, mate.
You're not frozen. It just quite. Oh, he has gone frozen, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He's frozen, Andy. There you go, Andy's frozen. He was just playing as a song by Styx. He'll be back in a minute. I'm pretty sure he will be.
Should we prank him? Should we pretend we're frozen? Just go freeze frame.
Yeah.
How long should we leave it?
Uh-oh.
Should we get about a minute?
Yeah, let's get a minute.
You're not convincing. Your eyebrows are great moving.
All right. Well, I'll try another new convincing one, ready?
Oh, that's good.
Great radio, folks. We're waiting for Andy to get back. It's Raconteurs News on a Monday night, and you're listening to me, Jason Holmes. Andy Young is with me, joining me as co-host. And our guest tonight is my old mucker, Heath Dwetht. And do you know, I think you've got to sing a song about this. You've got to write a song about the strike.
The strike.
Our
right there, you mean?
Our strike at school.
Oh yes, that is a really great incident. That was a big one, wasn't it?
That was ginormous. Yeah.
It was a good excuse to wag it, but we did have a good cause, didn't we?
Do you
remember the cause for that?
For freedom.
No, if you remember right, it was everyone used to stay in for school dinners, but then I think they had some school strike. The teachers were striking or something. To what I remember is, and some kid nearly got knocked over or got knocked over outside school. So that was kind of our, they needed some safety aspect of that road right in front of the school, and someone got knocked over. So we were striking for that. But really, we just wanted to wag it, didn't we?
Yeah, but we managed to get the entire school out. So
Yeah. And Joanne Blumfield, well done. She was an architect in science, in biology, human biology. Is Super Lee's listening?
I don't know, because I'm not looking at the chat room. Let's have a look. Say hello to us if you're in the chat room.
Oh, if Super Lee's is listening, just this is for you. Cunt.
He's been dying to say that all the time before he came on.
That was my entire speech. I'll get that one in, and we're done.
Oh, he's back, Andy. You're back.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks. Something going a bit weird with my computer. Obviously, I'm not supposed to play YouTubes while we're live. So.
Do you think that threw things over the edge? Did it? The live music?
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong. I've got 16 gig of RAM in it. It should be well boss of the job, but hey, I'll not do that again.
Yeah, that's plenty. I've got 12 gig of RAM, and still my music sometimes crashes. We even like say only 5 channels running, so it is a pain in the arse sometimes. You need to configure things a little bit. So, yeah, not always that easy. So
no, never that easy, to be honest. I mean, nothing's ever easy, is it? Not in this world, for fuck's sake. So what?
I'll tell you about Boy from Sheffield, because it's a good song. You're a boy from Sheffield as well. It's basically I was rolling around 4 chords, and they reminded me of something, but I never knew what it was until I think maybe about 3 months ago. It came to me what the chords reminded me of, but I'll play them. So we got an E minor. So it's feeling old, G. Smell like coal, A minor. Gotta get the wiggies into a B, because I'm off to the hole in the road. Wagging off school and I'm off to the city, watching telly all night, and I'm not looking pretty. Got this, blah, blah, blah. You get the, so I was just rolling those around, and then I just basically wrote the rest and found this lovely guitar riff, which I obviously didn't play. So, what I would like to do with these songs is to get the musicians and make them real, make them, rather than having building blocks, just to find a piece of stolen guitar to make my idea come to real. But I realized what that reminded me of now. See if you recognize it. Same chords. You saw me standing by the road, corner of a main street. Do you know it?
Nope.
And the lights are flashing on your windowsill. Say a prayer, Duran Duran. Do you remember it?
Right. Okay.
So that was the rule. Well, no, it was never in my mind when I made it, but those collection of chords with the verse for that, yeah. But yeah, obviously at the time I was just rolling a sequence together and made the song. But it's how easy it is to plagiarize something unintentionally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's just how it is. But as you can tell with Boy from Sheffield, you couldn't listen to it and hear Duran Duran ever, can you?
No.
It's completely changed. It's completely, But yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
I just had something in my head that I was going to ask you, and I can't fucking remember what it were. Are you going to help me out, Andy, or what? I just had this thought in me. I just had this thought in my head. Go on.
Was it How's Your Belly for Spots?
Was it what?
How's Your Belly for Spots?
Oh, that's like How's Your Tits for Warts?
Long those lines.
That's it. How's your tits for warts? That's what we're going to ask you. How's your tits for warts?
Yeah, they're a bit big at the minute.
Now, there's I mean, a lot of the songs that you do have some connotation, some undertones, some sort of message underneath them. Not particularly Boy from Sheffield, apart from that's just like reminiscing anybody from Sheffield that ever sort of can relate to any of that. But a lot of them are. I don't want to use the term truther songs.
I see what you mean, like the one that we wrote together.
Yeah.
Well, that one is. So my kind of background. I'm not a truther. I'm a non-truster. I find it very difficult to trust anything I read or anything I hear in media these days. And rather than going in a particular direction as, really against it or really for it, it's kind of pushed me to be a fence sitter, and it's not a position that I like, but it's a position that I feel like I've made the right choice because, you know what I mean? There's no kind of
you feel comfortable with it.
Well, no gratification going on either way. I've dipped my toe in it. I used to listen to and watch some David Icke stuff, for years and years ago, and it's really interesting at first. You know what I mean? It really it fucks your mind up, but it's really interesting at first. And the other guy, the American Alex Jones, obviously, he fucked my head up. Like just listening to one show, and it's just like, kill me now. You know what I mean? He's very, very, very horrendous. This guy. But the presentation of Ike, it was very, it was very acceptable. You could let it into yourself, but then you realize you can't fucking really do anything about all this stuff that he talks about, all this fucking the reptilians and the moon and the royal family and all this is, it's very hard to research anything like that because you just get what is out there, which is again is the stuff that I just don't believe. I just don't trust. I don't trust that it has any value. So I'm a fence sitter. And I hate being a fence sitter. I'd rather have a fucking side, I'd rather have an opinion. But my opinions are guesses. I think that sounds maybe likely. That maybe sounds likely. But still, I'm on the fence doing it. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, it's a shit position. Fucking hate it, wanker.
Flag. The first one of the night. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, no, I hate it. But I just don't believe anything. I don't believe what the politicians say. I don't believe. But someone I don't like is fucking Richard Branson. Fucking out the NHS up. This is someone kind of I'm disliking at the minute.
Well, I ate his fucking pickle, so he can fuck off straight away.
Virgin pickle?
No, Branston.
I'll just have another drink of my beer. I might get the next one.
All right, go on then. You'll go get another drink. All right.
Don't worry.
Oh, there he go. He's got it. That were quick. It's probably got somebody, a legion of dwarfs behind him that are supplying him with alcohol while he's on Raconteurs News. But we're joined by Heath Campbell, my old mate, and what would we call you? Artist in residence at Raconteurs News or what? I don't know.
I don't know. I bet you very kindly play my songs, and that's it's great. It's great. It gives me a little incentive to make more stuff. More stuff, and you kind of play it. It's great.
Tell us about last year. Sorry, go on, Andy.
I was just going to say we do get an awful lot of people asking about your music, not just on the website, which is now gone, but YouTube, all that kind of stuff. But also, anybody who comes in my car usually gets to hear one of your songs, and they're like, "Wow, that guy's got an amazing voice."
Wow, that's very flattering. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just, if I can, I'll just sneak in and say a quick hello, because we've got a busy old Facebook and YouTube tonight. We've got Michael Campbell, we've got Owen over in Portugal, we've got Lisa joined us from down south, and Lisa's got a beautiful new puppy today. We've got Andy Nisbet joined us from my old hometown. Jason Holmes, never heard of him. We've got Dave Jackson. Dave's listening somewhere in the Czech Republic. So I hope you're having a great time and enjoying your travels, or the start of your travels, Dave. We've got Lynn joined us, which I think is probably Patrick over in on the west coast of Ireland. We've got Paul Northridge, Unite Planet. We'll have to have a chat with Paul sometimes. He does his own podcast, so we could probably kind of cross-network and promote each other's stuff if you'd be up for doing that, Paul. Doug Maddox, a good friend of ours from up on the East Coast. And then we've got Joan in the YouTube chat. Joan was on a couple of weeks ago. She's doing her own show tonight. She's put a few details on there of what she's doing tonight. We've got Society of the Spectacle, and we've got Dave Iron who's joined us, and we've got, what is his, Johnny Jam Shovel, which wins the prize for tonight's chat room name. Well done, John. That's a brilliant name. I love it, man.
It is quite early still, though. It's only 7:30. I mean, come on, but there might be a better chat. And
yeah, it keeps building as it goes along. We know that.
Yeah, there's plenty of people in the chat room. I've just said hello to everybody. Paul Northridge just put yes, please, to your invitation for him to come on our show. So we should arrange that at any time. Anyway, Heath, I was going to ask you about last year, and of course, I don't think we quite made enough fuss of it, but again, there were a lot of things going on around here at Raconteurs Towers. But you won a contest. You won a contest. Sorry?
You froze up there. Sorry, mate.
Oh, sorry about that. But where did I get to?
You just started speaking.
All right.
Freeze.
All right. What we're going to say is, last year you entered a contest and we didn't make enough fuss of it. I don't think that we made enough fuss of it when you actually won. I mean, I did see a lot of people on the complaining on the not particularly complaining about you, but saying, "Oh, my song was absolutely fantastic. I don't know why I didn't win this," but you won that song. That I think we'll probably play that at the break time. But you won a contest. What was that like, and what was the process in that? Was that something that you already had ongoing, and you sort of just like beefed it up and then stuck it into this contest? What was that? How did that all happen?
So the DAW that I use, I talked about earlier, is the workstation that I use that I make the music on the computer is a company called Magix, and they just sent through Facebook this competition, to write a song of the summer, and I just thought, I there was no serious thought of winning it. It was just like, all right, it's good experience. It's going to help me to learn how to use this, to use this software. So I just knocked something up in a couple of hours, and and then won it. It's mental. But I did have a listen through. I mean, there were, how many was there? About 400, 200, 500,000. I don't know how many entries there were.
500, weren't there? Altogether?
I can't remember. Yeah, but they were shit. So I'd love to stroke my own ego, but I wouldn't, obviously. But
And there was a bit of sour grapes from the people who didn't win. I noticed in one or two of the comments there.
Yeah, I was a bit naughty there, wasn't I? I did a remix and I got it. Kurt Seymour he was called, wasn't he? And he's like, this is not fair. This is not fair. Mine is much better. I don't like his at all. It's rubbish. And I wasn't a big fan of mine either. And I was very surprised to win it. But when someone comes on with that kind of attitude that they, that real sour grapes like that. So I did a remix and put a rap on, just basically everything he said, and I turned it into a rap and then put it back online so he could have a listen to it. And I kept it on for about 3 or 4 days, and then I took it off because I'm not a bully. You know what I mean? I'm not there to victimize people. So yeah, so I took it off. Hopefully he had a chance to have a listen to it and get a bit of fucking humility about him.
Well, that's exactly what they need, isn't it? Is a lot of people do need that. They need the humility. So literally, it was something that you put together in a few hours.
Yeah.
When they put the reasons why they decided that yours was going to win, and they said it was head and shoulders above everyone else. You only done a couple of hours. You know what I mean? I can imagine.
Yeah.
There'd been people in there that had been spending days and probably weeks on this, trying to perfect this particular thing.
Absolutely,
and you hours and whip the rug from under the feet. So you're gonna get that, and plus you get that online. And the way that you said it was the very way that I imagined him saying it. If you lose a competition, if you enter a competition, you lose. You just walk away, don't you? You just go, you don't stand about, mine's much better than yours, unless you've got just completely ridiculous. But anyway, congratulations to that. What prizes did you get for that?
So I got some really nice mastering software, Isotope, which is lovely. You just put your final mix, you throw it into this software, and it's got some real nice presets, and it lifts all the highs and makes it kind of radio ready and CD ready and stuff in a very, very easy way of doing it. Just a preset, you just apply it and find the one that you like, and it brings all the settings and equalizes it very, very nicely. If there's anything that you've missed in your final mix that you did when you've before you turn it into like a wave or an MP3 file. It's good. I also got these beautiful headphones, and they're really amazing.
Aren't you supposed to call them cans in the business?
Cans, yeah, these nice cans. I don't know what you call them, but yeah, they're lovely. They're from Blue Microphones, and also the microphone, the mic that I've got as well. The Bluebird is, it's beautiful. It really does have a nice clarity of your vocal, and it brings out all the highs and all the middles and it's got really nice lows that don't distort or pop or anything. So yeah, it's beautiful mic. Highly recommend it. I feel like I'm advertising the prizes now, although I probably should anyway, because I got them for free, didn't I?
Brilliant. Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, you did get them for free. Yes, because you cheated in that competition and wrote a good song. It was for bad songs only. Of course, I mean, there's fucking loads of good to go into. I want to go into I know you're in a band at the moment, and I want to get into that at some point, probably in the second hour. There was something. How do you find the music industry at the moment? Because I don't know if you and your wife Mia. I know your wife Mia, obviously, and Mia's a very talented singer as well. I mean, as a pair, you make a fucking duo that like I'll blow out away. And we were lucky enough to see on New Year's Eve one year, a couple of years ago, here in Sheffield, when you got a gig.
Posh Turn. They called us the Posh Turn.
They did, didn't they? They called you the Posh Turn, yeah, because you were a little bit more expensive because it was New Year's Eve.
Yeah. No, I think it's just we didn't talk with a really thick, because I've lost my Sheffield accent. With years of cruising, but yeah, they call you. Well, it's you that heard him, or someone over there called you Posh Turn.
Yeah. turn tonight. Yeah.
No, we're both very working class, so.
Well, what I wanted to ask is not just yourself, but if you feel you're able, then give some sort of interpretation that your wife might have to this question as well. Just
the music industry.
The music industry, yeah. What sort of state would you say that it's in?
Well, I think it's hard to speak for someone else, but my feeling is that Mia, she enjoys, a lot of the quality of the vocals that you get these days. It's very, very talented singers, far better than in where kind of our era is like the late 70s, the whole of the 80s, and then maybe just a little bit of the 90s is our main era, isn't it? We're the same age, so it's and things were different there. But I do personally, I it's manufactured pop, and it's not got much personality these days, I find. And I although I obviously as a singer I can really appreciate some really technical singers, I'll be in awe, absolutely. But in our day, you got the ugliest bastards, you know what I mean? Even a fucking St. Winifred's fucking choir could get to the top of the charts. It was a different time, you know what I mean? An ugly bastard with a real hairy face and fucking 3 arms could get to the top of the charts, and it had, I think it had more personality back then. And I miss that. And I think it's, I don't believe that back then in the 80s that the record companies were just, buying the artists into the top 10, you know what I mean? Where I think they do that these days. They can get them there themselves quite easily.
Don't you think that
manipulate it a bit better,
But don't you think that started in the 80s with Stock Aitken and Waterman?
Yes, it probably did. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair to say. It was, it wasn't the Vinegar Strokes then. It was just starting off, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just beginning when you got artists like Jay Sonya or what were they called?
Jay Sonya.
Jay Sonya.
That's your name in my phone. It says Jay Sonya.
Name, isn't it? You're Heather and I'm Jay Sonya. Yeah, so you got artists like that and Jason Donovan, and I think what Stock Aitken and Waterman did, and the likes of Simon Cowell and Simon Fuller, latterly, sort of early in the 90s, Simon Fuller, weren't it? And I think Simon Cowell came to prominence when he got Robson and Jerome aboard. The new Robson and Jerome. Yeah, he got them aboard. I think that was really what started him. And then there seemed to be like a time when there was a melting pot between. There was not really very much difference between a soap star and a recording artist, and that's for me when it started to cheapen and it started. I think we manufactured to a certain degree the likes of Rick Astley, who we fucking loved, we adored, didn't we, when we were...
Great singer, yeah, great singer.
Brilliant singer. But it did sort of like start to turn after, I think particularly after him. And I do think that that's probably a big part of why he moved away from, because he could have carried on for a lot longer. This has gone so long that I've forgotten what the question was supposed to be.
Yeah, well, just what I thought of music today was the question, wasn't it?
And what would you change? What if there was something that you could bring back? There were one thing that you could bring, that you could say, that record, I want this record to be in the charts now, but not have been in the charts before. And this would show people what musical and technical ability is.
Yeah. What they have done is they used to have a singles chart and an album chart. And it was fucking awesome. Everything you had, apart from Ultravox, fucking they were shit, weren't they? But used to get like rock, used to get, used to have every genre in the same chart. and the variety of that, you know, they just it was like a real interesting race. You know what I mean? It's now that they've separated them. You've got a rock chart, you've got a country chart, you've got a pop chart, which is the one we're talking about, is the pop chart. You know what I mean? And they've just separated it. You've got electronic chart. You know, Gary Newman apparently is still making fucking #1 albums in electronic chart. You know what I mean? We just don't hear about it. It's all, they separated everything. And the only one that they promote and that they push and that we ever hear really is the pop chart. And I think that's a big shame, because, you know, I like so many, apart from, I can't get on with classical music. It's just, I've tried it lots of times. I can't get on with classical music.
It's shit.
It's a little, although it's technical and you can appreciate how fucking genius the writer is, you know what I mean, and how genius, you know, the people playing it is. It's just no fun, and I like fun in music, you know what I mean. And yeah, I like the, just to have everything, a big bunch of everything, and that's how music was good in the 80s and in the 70s, because you had everything there, even the shit, you know what I mean. There's a lot of shit got in there.
Oh yeah.
But they were a good band, or it's what the kids, you know, what the kids liked at that point. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You know what I mean, do you remember me and you going, you know, Prince Charming, and all that shit? You know what I mean? It wouldn't stand a chance these days, would it? And when you look back, you probably think,
just
it was shit.
Just
but
a second, Heath, I've got to hold you back. I've got to drag you a little bit back there. That Prince Charming, and when you say it wouldn't happen these days, it's not that long since a student walked into my place and said, "Can you play a record called Gangnam Style?" It's Gangnam Style, and it's the new big thing. And they were all people doing the same shit, doing the, you know, dancing about and doing well. So I think there's less of them, because they used to be, they were a bit of a spate of like records, weren't they? That were like,
yeah, novelty
party sort of
novelty pop, isn't it?
Yeah, they were records, Mr. Blobby, all that sort of thing. So and then Gangnam Style. So I don't know if we've got completely away from it, or it's just got more immature. It's like we've gone from if you go from, and I'm going to sound like a right old fart here, but if you go from Agadoo, and then you go for a record, something like Wakefield Saturday Night. Again, another one where everyone does the same dance and all that sort of thing. And it's like you then regress. Wakefield Saturday Night seemed to be the most mature of the party songs that I can think of anyway. Or the one-off sort of what's the fucking word? No.
I'm trying to think of it, Jason. One of the ones that springs to mind for me that is that Turkish guy, Tarkan. He did that one, Kiss
Kiss, yeah.
Covered by quite a few people. But going back to Adam and the Ants, I remember when I was at college at Lincoln, Adam and the Ants were booked to play at the Drill Hall one night, and they didn't show up. And bear in mind, this was kind of pretty much at the tail end of the punk, and there was a lot of Adam Ants fans about. So it was a pretty wild time dress-wise. You should have seen the fucking place that night when Adam and the Ants didn't show up. Man, it was wild.
What music are you into then, Andy?
Well,
your era's probably similar to ours, isn't it? Maybe more 70s.
Yeah, I was sort of 70s into the 80s. I mean, I really didn't get into the punk stuff right at the beginning, but I got in punk towards the end of it, and then I was kind of more into the mod stuff, and then a little bit of new romantic. But really, for me, I stopped listening to music for a long while when the Jam split up. That was a big damn.
Yeah. Did you have a Parker? Did you have a green Parker?
I didn't have a fishtail Parker, but I had the suit and the pod shoes and all that. I was actually sat in a truck in a little side street just off Marble Arch. I'd stopped to grab a bite to eat there, And I'd got the window down. I was sat eating whatever it was I was eating.
What did Mods eat?
Sorry?
What did Mods eat?
I think back in them days it was McDonald's. Shamed as I am to admit it. And I thought that voice seems vaguely familiar. And I looked in my mirror and there was Paul Weller walking down the street. I'm like, what? And he was talking to this guy who I had no idea who he was. It turned out later he was Mick Talbot. We formed the Style Council with it, and they were talking about forming this new band and what happens when the Jam split up. And I was listening, and I was like, "No, the Jam can't split up." Oh man, I was in shock after that. I really was. I can't remember driving home or anything.
Yeah, I was never into that kind of music then.
Yeah,
fucking love it now. You know, I've listened to the whole back catalogue. I love the Style Council. I love it. You know, I love all of that stuff now. I can appreciate it. But at the time, I wasn't into it. I was into all the black disco funk kind of soul kind of the Shalimar and
I was
the bars. Loved the bass lines of that. I was really into that. Yeah.
I made a friend when I first moved to Boston about 12 years ago. I befriended an aging Glaswegian. And once I got to know him, it turned out that he was a sax player with Alex Harvey back in the early 60s. And when Alex Harvey went over to Hamburg around the same time as the Beatles, and it was the Alex Harvey Soul Band before the sensational Alex Harvey was even thought of. And I listened to some of his old stuff, and that really got me going off in different directions. And then somebody I worked with, when we started doing Raconteurs News, gave me a big hard drive full of all kinds of music, a terabyte of music. I haven't even got through a tenth of what's on there, but I've discovered all kinds of new artists that I'd never really listened to before, like Tom Waits, Etta James.
Yeah, Etta James, yeah, nice.
Fleetwood Mac, but I always used to wonder when I mentioned Fleetwood Mac to people, some people would just look at you and tut and walk away. And I thought, oh, okay, I like Tusk and all that sort of thing. But these were Fleetwood Mac fans from the old days when Fleetwood Mac were quite bluesy. And I just love Fleetwood Mac's early stuff as well. So now I just like anything that sounds really good to me. But I do listen to an awful lot of Heath Dwetht stuff, or as much as I can.
I don't know how you can stand it personally, but someone has to listen to it, so that's good.
Well,
Fleetwood Mac, I now cover one of theirs. Do you know the one "Go Your Own Way"?
Yeah.
Sing that one, man! What a fucking great song that is! What a great song! The audience they pump for it. They love it. You know, all age groups, they love it. It's what a find, and that's through the band, the guitarist. Andy, the guitarist in the band, he introduced me to that one, and I can't believe I never knew of it until recently. So, yeah, I don't mind having a listen through your terabyte of music as well. There's probably some right gems in there. Isn't there?
Oh, mate, get yourself a terabyte hard drive, and I'll clone it for you. I just want to give a quick shout out to our other two Raconteurs members who are not on the show tonight, Aid and Webby. Aid, I haven't heard from Aid for a few days, but he's very up and down with his health, and he's really not managing to get his heartbeat stabilized. So if you're listening, Aid, I hope you're taking it easy a little bit. I know you're not the taking it easy kind of guy. And I got the shock of my life because I got a private message from Webby when we started on the show, and he's been taken what seems very poorly at the minute. So Webby, it sounds like you need to take it easy a bit. Take your foot off the gas, man, and get some rest, and hope you're feeling better soon.
The Raconteurs curse, huh?
Well, the big problem is Webby's supposed to be our carer, so what the fuck are we going to do? You fancy a new job, Heath?
I think what we're seeing is we're seeing an attack. Now they failed with me. They weren't able to kill me, so they just had to amputate my leg. Then they took Guy Taylor. Obviously, he was weaker than I was. I mean, physically. And then Richie Allen, they've tried to get. He's in hospital at the moment as well. So get well soon, Richie Allen. I hope you really do get well, and get well to Webby as well. Sorry to hear you're not feeling very well, mate. And AD. Probably would be on if I'd have told him, but I just didn't want to hear his stories again. So,
boo, Mino.
Well, actually, I'm pleased you mentioned about Richie Allen being poorly, because I thought that message you sent me last night was really random when I said, have you got anything lined up for tomorrow night? And you went, well, we could do a tribute to Richie Allen if he's dead. I thought, wow, that's even quite random for you, Jason.
Who's Richie Allen?
He's another talk show host.
Oh, he's not on your show, is he?
No, he's not on our show. No, he's not on our show. So, anyway, get well soon to you, Richie Allen. Get well soon to everybody. And I hope you don't think I meant anything derogatory when I mentioned Guy Taylor, because I really didn't. And we've got the utmost respect for Guy here.
Was he one of your guests?
Sorry.
Was he one of your guests then, Guy Taylor?
Yeah, we had Guy Taylor we've had Guy Taylor on a couple of times, and unfortunately, last weekend he passed. I'm not going to say passed away. He died.
Passed away, died.
It's harder than saying died, isn't it? It takes longer, using more letters. So yeah, he died on weekend. So.
Well, what happened, and what did he die of?
Oh, he had cancer.
Oh, cancer.
For quite a long time. He'd been ill for quite a long time, and nobody had heard from him really. Outside of his family for about a year or so. So I think it was about a year or so ago that we had him on last, and he were on great form then. But unfortunately, he's no longer with us. So listen, I'm noticing it's 19:57, which means we are at the break time. And I know you did say to me, Heath, that you didn't want to.
Yeah, put something good on.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna put a good one.
Just before you go to the break, Jason, can I just read a little message out? Because a good friend of Guy's and a good friend of ours, he's introduced us to quite a lot of people. Ray Moore messaged me today, and it's a message from Guy's wife, and she's saying that anyone who wants to come and pay their respects to Guy, the funeral will be on Monday the 20th of August 2018 at Hereford Crematorium, 1:30 till 3 o'clock, and then it will be at Hereford Rowing Club, where there's plenty of parking. So unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to get there. I'd love to be there because it's going to be a hell of a crowd to get. I've seen somebody suggesting there, in Guy's memory, perhaps we should have a Guy Taylor Day every year and have a bit of a meet-up with speakers, maybe some bands, bouncy castles, make it a big family day. And that would be a fantastic tribute to all the great work and the help that Guy gave to all the people when he was around.
Yeah, that would be a fitting tribute. So if anybody's putting that together, then you'd have our support here. Unfortunately, I don't think. Well, I won't be able to get down to down there for Guy's funeral, although I would have liked to. But we'll be there in spirit, and we played his song. We played his last interview with us. Last week, didn't we? On the day that he died. So I'm going to look through a few of them and try and find a few sound bites of Guy saying things and put it together. Perhaps just an half an hour thing. But yeah, something for in future. Anyway, it is break time. Everybody, you can all go for a wee now. We're going to play a couple of records. We'll be back right after these two records. You have got 7 minutes. 7 minutes to go and have a wee, get yourself another drink, and get yourself settled down for part two with me, Andy, and Andy Young. Me, Jason Holmes, with Andy Young and our guest, Heath Campbell.
Hello, this is Heath Dwetht, and I listen to Raconteurs every Tuesday night, 8 till 10 on autonomousmedia.net.
Wrong one. I said wrong one, didn't I?
goddamn nuisance of myself, poking my nose in everybody's business. Oh God, will I ever learn? 'Cause it always backfires on me. I can't control myself no more. So what do I do? Just stay and live and go out. Every day is trouble. Every day is trouble for me. Is it my voice or my face or the clothes that I wear? 'Cause something's getting me noticed in a bad way. I must say, I ain't looking for no shit, but it finds me. Particularly when I'm out driving. Slow down, you know, it's a runabout, mate, not a racetrack. How the fuck did you pass your test? You're a pest, you got my heart beating in my chest. No wonder I'm so irate. Why don't you fucking indicate? I wish I had a shit gun ferret at your window, bitch. Making a goddamn nuisance of myself, poking my nose in everybody's business. Oh God, will I ever learn? 'Cause it always backfires on me. I can't control myself no more. So what do I do? Just stay and live and go out. Every day is trouble. Every day is trouble for me. So I drive and get my shit done quick. Don't want to waste too much time on the streets with the pricks. I know they're going to take my energy. Give me road rage, then I commit a felony. Score some weed, then I drive home readily. Hang my car keys up and calm down steadily. Lays on my mind when I let them get to me. Load up on some roller J, get stone, write a melody. Start getting high, having less of the hunches. Put it on hold while I answer the munchies. Get about the dicks while I'm grinding the bunches. Really need to learn just to roll with the punches.
Algún día me perdonan, aquí te estaré esperando, porque yo era muy feliz cuando tú abrías los ojos. Andaba por la noche y andaba muy perdido, me faltaban que tus ojos me mostraran el camino, porque yo era muy feliz cuando tú abrías los ojos.
Making a goddamn nuisance of myself, poking my nose in everybody's business. Oh God, will I ever learn? 'Cause it always backfires on me. I can't control myself no more. So what do I do? Just stay and live and go out. Every day is trouble. Every day is trouble for me. Every day is trouble. Every day is trouble. Making a goddamn nuisance of myself, poking my nose in everybody's business. Oh God, will I ever learn? 'Cause it always backfires on me. I can't control myself no more. So what do I do? Just stay and live and go out. Every day is trouble. 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 Every day is trouble for me.
You putting another song on, Jace?
Yeah, it's supposed to be on.
Oh.
Ridiculous. Hang on. Fucking hell.
Just sing, Heath. That'll do.
I love to sing, and I sometimes wonder why not let go? Why not let go? In the early morning and in the evening, why not let go? Why not let go? In the early morning and in the evening, why not let go? That's what I'm crazy. That's what I'm crazy. That's what I'm crazy. But it's alright. That's what I'm crazy. That's what I'm crazy. That's what I'm crazy. But it's alright. Because I love you. That's what I love you. You know I love you. Why not let go? Because I love you. That's what I love you. You know I love you. Why not let go? I love to sing, and sometimes wonder why not let go. I love to sing, and sometimes wonder why not let go.
Oh yeah.
Walking 97.4. There you go, a little bit of confusion. I think during the middle of that, Les Dawson's on. I like Les Dawson.
Why'd you call me?
No, that's not Les Dawson.
Les Dawson. It was the one that was Collier, wasn't it? Norman Collier.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, welcome back to Raconteurs News on Friday night. It's the 6th of August 2018. And we've got Heath on. Heath's been on with us for the first hour. We've been talking all sorts of serious stuff in the first hour. I think it's time we lightened it up a bit.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Heath?
Yeah. It's, I mean, we had some good dancing there. Do you want to just dance for half an hour?
We can do a bit of a dance. So what about you, Andy?
Well, if we're lightening up, can I start?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay. What's your favourite colour, Heath?
Green.
Oh no, that's a bit of a short answer, isn't it?
Well, I thought you'd have read more into that.
How long an answer can you answer? What's your favourite colour?
Would have been longer than green, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there anything longer than green?
Greener.
Well, yeah, I suppose so.
Greenery.
Oh yeah, we're all in favour of greenery around here.
Well, that was my colour.
Right. Well, before we get too many, we're going to get you on your piano very, very soon. I can see you're itching to jump on it. And
I'm not.
Oh. Woohoo!
That's the intro to Mary Joanna. That's what I did on the ship. That. Oh, sorry. And it started off really slow. And there's a bit that's not on the one that you've got. The one that is a bit more hip hop, isn't it? The one that I made with a rap and stuff.
Yeah.
But it actually started. Every night when I'm on my own, I reach for you. Hey, I only do it 'cause I know you'll always be there. 'Cause I put you there. Yeah, I put you there. You can count on me. Yeah, you can always count on me. 'Cause you're my friend. And that's when it went. In the morning, when I wake up, all I want is Mary Joanna. In the evening, when I'm thinking, all I want is Mary Joanna. If you look in my eyes, you will see what I've done every minute, every hour of every day. But life is like a smoke. In the end, you're gonna choke. So all I do is live my life from day to day. That's how it originally went, that song, but I hip hopped it up with a bit of rap, you know.
Yeah. Hey, listen, before we down too many beers or have too many wines or have
Before, define before.
Well, like now.
Oh, right. For who?
Okay, all right. Before any more, as he takes a swag.
Would you put some cling film over it?
No. You can do this while you're answering this question. But you're in a band. Tell us about that.
Called Dixie Exchange. I don't like the name, but I love the band. We're playing modern country, 70s rock classics like Fleetwood Mac and Styx, and got a bit of Clapton, some Eagles. Fucking love the Eagles, and then some really modern country stuff as well. It's just brilliant. It's brilliant. We've been singing for quite a while, doing covers of, well, just a lot of shit for so many years, and it wasn't even, we didn't enjoy it. And now we've got a new lease of life. We're singing some amazing songs, and we're doing gigs at the minute. We're doing gigs with a band for free, and I've never been happier than it. I'm more happy doing these free gigs with a band than paid gigs. You know what I mean? In other circumstances. So
in the sort of venues that you inevitably have to enter into it in the area where you are, and
earning a buck, paying some bills. That's what it is.
Yeah, of course it is.
And just with me and the missus, we've both been sprinkled with fairy dust now. We've got real magic dust now. We're loving our singing. We're revitalized, and it shows you what some really good tunes can do, for a singer when you're singing something like crowd pleasers that you don't really want to sing, but they're going to enjoy it. You know what I mean? So
it's what they're expecting, isn't it? A lot of the time.
Yeah. Some people, they expect the same songs week in, week out, and it's for an artist, for the soul of an artist, it murders you, it stifles you, and you just the fun goes. You know what I mean? I like to improvise. I like to, just make stuff up in the moment and enjoy it. I get real pleasure from singing a song completely differently to the last time I sang it. You know what I mean? I just fuck around with it and play with it. So yeah.
But you've got the vocal range to do that. You always had the vocal range to do that, to be able to fuck around with your song. Because I used to then try to emulate you, the way that you'd sang a particular line or a chorus or something like that. And I just could never do it because I just weren't good enough. But,
it's not that you couldn't sing or that you had a bad voice. You can sing and you do have a voice. The problem is the hearing. You know what I mean? There's only a small percentage of the population have a singer's hearing, and because my dad was a singer and a musician, I've just fortunately genetically got it. That's it, And then from then you just develop your color, your style, your technique, and stuff like that, over many years. But no, the only thing that you had missing was the hearing to hit every note exactly bang on. You know what I mean? Mm. But yeah, otherwise, and me and you did a gig, didn't we, in Thurcroft at a New Year's Eve gig? That was brilliant, man. That's another one that would be a nice part of a nice song. It was a good memory. Yeah, I remember you for the last about 5 songs, you just fucked off and got pissed and left me to do the last little bit, didn't you? Do you remember?
Yeah, probably. I probably don't remember, but yeah, that's probably what happened, because that was me around about that time. You've just touched on your dad. Now, I knew your dad. He didn't live far from me here in Sheffield, and I got to know him sort of the latter part of his life. And he unfortunately he died last year as well. Last year, yeah, he died last year. But the amazing thing was, you sent me a link to a YouTube video of him. I think it was in his band, one of his bands, whether it was O'Hara's Playboys or
it was the Photograph. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was a YouTube link, and your dad was singing, and it sounded exactly the same as you.
Oh no, I don't know anything about that. So
you really don't, honestly. Yeah. You sent it me. You sent me a YouTube video. Your dad. I think they were somewhere like in Germany or something like that. Around about that time in '60s, when there were a lot of British bands going.
I can't remember the German link on YouTube. Yeah, but I don't remember him singing on that one. What I thought you was going to say is there was a picture came out of him in his I think like late 20s or something in the band O'Hara's Playboys. You won't get away with that name these days, would you?
No.
O'Hara's Playboys. Yeah. But in the picture, we look identical. It's it could be me. It could be like, look at me in this picture from 1965, 68 kind of time. Yeah. But I saw the links, but I don't remember him singing on any of those. It was the lead singer John O'Hara that was singing on that.
Right.
On the YouTube links that I remember. So maybe I'm wrong.
Well, something that I've noticed is that you didn't. I don't really want to get into like personal stuff and things like that, but you didn't really have the best relationship with your dad. I think that's fair to say, yeah. But the influences from him upon you, which can only really be genetic.
Yeah, true.
Are incredible, aren't they? And they just show that this gene does go down through. I don't know how much you want to talk about your dad, but it's just it was just that the genetic sources seem to be in play. You,
yeah, the genetic. What's come through as there was a little bit of influence. I have some memories of when I had a relationship, very little bit of a relationship when I was small. My mum and dad split up when I was very, very young, so that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so there wasn't much communication for much of my life. But yeah, the little bit that I did, some influences of music that he listened to and playing the guitar. Apparently he bought me a guitar when I was very, very young, and the next day I went out and used it as a cricket bat. So that was the end of my career as a guitarist, and now I'm fucking gutted. I would just like, you know, my wife as well, the same. We would love to be able to play the guitar, you know, but you know, missed that one. Shit at cricket as well.
If I could just jump in there, there's a comment from Webby in the chat room, and he says, "Did Heath just say he pays his bills?"
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I fucking do. Yeah, I go through the motions, pay the bills. Yeah, I would love to not pay bills. However, I did. We stopped watching live TV long time ago. When you know, when you started getting stuff on demand, we got Netflix, and we're like, fuck. This is like a lot better than live TV. Live TV is so shit. You just search through and you end up watching something shit that you don't even like, but you watch it because you want to watch something. You know what I mean? Otherwise, what are you going to do? You're going to, you know.
Well, it's training, isn't it? If you've got 1,000 channels there, you just keep click, and then we'll settle for that.
Yeah, exactly that.
Why not actually do something you fucking enjoy rather than settling for some sort of brain entrainment that's coming through the wall of the lounge?
Even better. So yeah, it was a revelation. We fucked off live TV. We fucked off the TV license. That was very, very liberating moment. Because it's a bill, and everyone probably at some point has been tied, you know, to bills. You've got to pay them. You've got to go work. You've got to fucking worry about them. You know, you've got to stress about them. You got to argue about them. You know, and it's a big, you know, it's a big pain in the arse that just fucking probably through the stress of it just takes hours and days off your life. You know, and that's one liberating. But yeah, we pay our bills. We fucking, apart from that one, you know, we're pretty much mainstream, and we just fucking crack on with it, you know. But yeah, pretty much that's where we are on that one.
Do you know what I want to know, Heath? Are those bottles on top of that cupboard behind you, are they all full?
Every fucking one. Shit loads, isn't there? Can you see them all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to Calais. That's where the song Calais comes from. Every few years, I'll go and do a wine run, and I just spend hundreds of pounds in Calais and just buy fucking shitloads of red wine. And sorry, I'm away from the mic there, aren't I? And it's it's about like £1.50 for a bottle of wine. So what do? You know, I've got a big car.
Andy, your mic's off, mate.
Sorry, if you're a red wine lover, you can't really afford not to do that once you've started doing it. I know the time that I lived out in Spain and ran a bar, when I bought the bar, I'd got about 50 cases of a really nice Rioja, and I used to sell that as a house wine at like €1 a glass, quite a big glass. And when it ran out the evening that one of my friends brought his friend round, who was a patron of a 4-star hotel. No, so he's the owner of a 4-star hotel. And he said, "Oh, I'll have a glass of your best Tinto." And I'm like, "Oh, shit, we just run out." So I ran round the supermarket round the corner and got this bottle of Rioja that was 80 cents. And I brought it back and I gave him it. And he's like, "Oh, my God, that's beautiful." I thought, wow.
Yeah, if your mission is to get pissed, then 80-cent wine. We used to, when we're on the cruise ships, used to sometimes ask passengers, because we obviously crew were not allowed. We were allowed to drink, but we weren't allowed to bring stuff on or anything like that. It was all kind of managed and moderated, you know, in the crew bar, so they could watch what you're drinking. So I used to get passengers to bring us, especially in Spain, they used to bring us God, what do they call it? San something. I can't remember, but it was these cartons of wine, and
they're the best.
They costed very little, you know, like a euro or what. It was pesetas then, weren't it? So it was about, you know, £1 for this, 1.5 liters, and they used to bring them on, and you say like, oh, how much do we owe you? And they'd be like, "Oh, no, it's on us." It turned into a little scam. We just used to find a target, and you're like, oh, would you mind just bringing us a couple back? You know, that brought your loads, and you never paid for it. Oh yeah, what was it called? Yeah. Good memory.
Do you miss it?
What, the cruising days?
Life on the sea.
Yeah, it's a single man's game. It's not a married man's game, and I love being married. I love being a dad. I love being a husband. It's great. But they were great days, and I miss them. Yeah, they were good. They were good days.
Good.
Apart from the fucking lifeboat drills, fucking, they were a pain in the arse because you never sail on the cruise ships to cold places. It's always like 30 to 40 degrees, sometimes even like mid 40 degrees. So after all the passengers have got off, the first thing you do is a lifeboat fucking drill, and you've got this, fucking piss from the night before in the crew bar, shades on, life jacket on as tight as you can fucking put it, and then you have to like get into the lifeboat, lower the lifeboats, go down into, and you just want to fucking go back to bed. You're absolutely fucked. It's just, oh god. But it's now looking back, great memories. But yeah, that's probably the worst part of cruising when you work on board.
It always is. Looking back, it always seems better than it did at the time. I know when I think back to my 25 years of DJing and different things that that I got up to.
Oh, you had some fun in Dubai, didn't you? Didn't you have a few incidents there?
Oh, incidents. I got arrested. I got all sorts.
Yeah. Remind me, what was that? What happened there again?
For having a crash.
You crashed. Was it a Mercedes or something?
Mercedes, yeah, a Mercedes 190E. I'd just been given it by a dealer that wanted to drive it about for him, like a sponsor car, and it were brand new and it had an old body kit on it, and it were. In fact, I'd fucked the body kit up already because on New Year's Eve I'd gone out and I was so fucking pissed when I were driving. I was so fucking pissed that they were building a curb, but they'd put the curb bit in, but they'd not put the bit. What you walk on. So it was just like stuck up, and I'd mounted on that, and I'd mounted on it, and anyway, this cop car pulls up behind me, and there were me and a few mates, and they said, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm stuck," and he said, "You been drinking?" I said, "No, I've not been drinking, no," and so they lifted my car off for me. I told them that I'd not been drinking, and that's what it was like back then. In them days, that's what it was like. I know people. It was a different world. It were probably like Britain in '70s. It wasn't the. If I'd have been a local, or I'd have been an Indian, or a bird, or a Thai.
A bird, you'd have been locked up, wouldn't you?
Yeah, or a bird, I'd have been locked up, and which showed it as well because that 190, I crashed it. What I did is I changed lanes and I didn't look, and a car came in and rammed into the side of me, and the guy just got out, jumped up and got out of his car and ran off. I thought, what the fucking hell's he doing? Next thing, these people come with this little Indian fella, and I said, well, we've just had a little bump. We'll just sort insurance details out, and we'll deal with it. No, we need to phone police. Phone police. They arrested me, and they arrested him. Because that's what they did. They arrested if there were any accidents, everybody got arrested, and then they decided who was right and who was wrong. And obviously, I weren't wrong, but I got some slimy lawyer to get me out of it.
Would you recommend, like, if someone got offered a job there, would you recommend they go there, or would you kind of put them off?
Well,
based on your experience, then.
Well, based on my experience, when Dubai was in its infancy. I mean, it's much bigger, and it was big enough then. But
has it changed politically, though? Has it?
Well, no, it's still. I think it's the Maktoum family, isn't it? The Sheikh of Dubai is Sheikh Maktoum bin Rashid Al Maktoum. I'm pretty sure it's still the same people. It's the Maktoum family who have the horse race.
The racehorse owners, yeah.
Horses, yeah. So I think it's still the same family and it's still the same culture. But in 2008, it had a huge drop. and you're in a situation now where there were airports in Dubai, not Dubai airport, but airports in Dubai and actually Dubai airport, where there were like luxury supercars being abandoned because people were fleeing because the bottom had just dropped out of everything. So I don't know what it's like now, but that happened in 2008. But based on when I went, I went for, I had so many experiences. I had Christmas dinner on HMS Birmingham. I went on and had a tour of the USS Abraham Lincoln, which is an aircraft carrier. 50 stories, and I got a bit of a tour of that. All these things, all these different things that I would never have done if I'd not gone over and been a DJ. Waka waka waka.
You were a good DJ, though. I'll give you that. You were very good. Your observational comedy was second to none. You could spot it and really make a joke out of it. Very good.
Gayrist.
I don't know when you said, "Oh, when you come in on the show to do it," and I agreed to come on and hang myself from the gallows. I remembered me and you when you were working at a place called the Crafty Fox, and you were DJing there, and I came along with you. And for some reason, we decided it's going to be really funny if we rehearse that at some point in the night, we'll take our shoes and socks off, do this fucking ridiculous dance called the barefooting, and we just fucking we danced just pointing at our bare feet for like about 3 minutes, man. And that memory came back.
Nobody knew what to do, did they? Though nobody knew what to do. That's what we did. We were barefooting, and that was your idea, by the way.
Was it? Well, your memory's much better than mine, so I'll have to accept it.
So if anybody wants to find it, it's a soul song, and it's called Barefooting, but there's no G on the end because it's like barefooting and it's young. And
I don't think anyone were taking videos on their smartphones back then, so I think we're safe from
Well, yeah, I think
that performance surfacing.
There is a videotape of us, the two shitheads, if you remember, somewhere like knocking about.
Probably from Josephine's in Sheffield, yeah.
Kind of Barker's Pool somewhere.
Yeah, hopefully that one's buried as well. Also, I remember in the Crafty Fox there was a deaf woman who used to read our lips, and it took forever for the penny to drop. They're like, she's watching everything we're saying, and we used to say some shit, didn't we? So.
Oh yeah, did we say some shit? And she came to me at one because if you remember, she was there with her husband or something, and she came to me at one point and said, "I can see everything that you're saying. I can read it. I'm a little."
Yeah, and yes, I do have nice tits.
Yeah, that was the sort of stuff we used to get up to, didn't we? But when we were young entertainers.
Have you told them about our audition before we even got into show business? Our first entrance into show business.
Oh, you mean at Colin
Deaton's office? Yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't told them. No. But we did a nice Rick Astley song, didn't we?
We did.
But we did it hidden behind a door because we were embarrassed.
I wouldn't have hired us.
We were embarrassed. Oh, do you remember? I'd nicked my dad's car to take us to that. My dad's car. My dad run nights. Can't run drive, and we don't you remember? Because we were coming on his way home. We thought it had gone right well.
I just hope he's listening. Your dad's a top man. He'll really appreciate it if he doesn't know it yet.
We're on his way back home, and there's in that Vauxhall Chevette, right? 1 fucking God knows whatever. 1.4 call.
I've not heard those two words for fucking 30 years.
Do you remember that? There's that blip on way back. That jump thing on way back from Colin Deaton's.
Clown. It was a clown, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was like a jump thing. And
Bulbra.
And nearly fucking wiped his sense out. Just after we just broke into showbiz by singing Rick Astley behind the door because we were embarrassed.
It took
So
me
you-
it took me 3 months to pick up a microphone. I was so shy then.
So you very nearly followed in James Dean's footsteps just after you'd done your first audition then.
The world could have been robbed of Heath and Jason. It would have been an absolute travesty. And we won't be sat here tonight, would we, talking on this radio show. Listen, everybody, I hope you're not getting a bit too bored with me and Heath reminiscing, but that seems to
Is
be...
Super League still there? Cunt!
I haven't actually seen him in the chat tonight.
Maybe he'll listen to the playback. Cunt! There's another one. I don't say it as well, do I? Jason says it good. When you're having your rant, I love the rants.
Oh,
Do you know what fucking pisses me? That it's a great start to a 5-minute segment in it.
oh, I thought you'd got one for us there.
Oh no! I just saying how Jason starts, and then just as the alcohol sets in, and then fucking this great rant. Love that.
Yeah, it's all right until we start talking about nuking Middle Eastern countries, isn't it?
I must have missed that one.
You do.
Gone forever. Gone forever, and the Middle Eastern country will remain nameless.
But we all know who it is.
Yes, of
Oh,
course.
is that the deleted show you're talking about?
Yes.
I never got to hear that show. Can you send it me?
I'm lucky.
Can you send it me? I think I've missed a little piece of history there.
Yeah.
I don't think it exists anymore, does it, Andy?
You don't sound too keen, either of you.
I think there might be a copy of it somewhere. I could maybe sneak you over, Heath.
Yeah, well, all right.
I promise, well, let's say it will self-destruct as soon as I've read it, as soon as I've listened to it.
Oh dear, fucking hell! I mean, you started off as you were the DJ one. You started me off as being a DJ. How come you ended up being a singer, and I ended up, being a spastic?
Yeah, let's talk about your leg, man. Fucking hell, that came from nowhere, didn't it?
No, it had been going on for a bit.
For me, it was just shock. I was in shock. I suppose everyone around you was, weren't they?
Oh yeah, everyone right, yeah.
Man, I nearly cried when I watched you cry on this show, and I've never felt so emotional like that for a long, long time. That was some moment. That really was.
That was for me. I struggled to hold it together when Jason came on that night. But I think it was such a bloody shock for all of us. And Jason said something to me the other night which really resonated with me. He leant into the microphone. He says, "You know what?" He said, "I handled it better than all you fuckers, didn't I?" You did, man.
Yeah.
Listen, let's talk about something else, because if you don't want me to cry again on radio, then I suggest we stop talking about this.
Yeah, don't want that, mate.
No, yeah. Where are we? We're reminiscing, aren't we? Yeah, you were a DJ before me.
Down at the youth club.
Yeah, we're youth club DJs. Well, you were.
Yeah, I used to love that. Yeah, but I've got no. It's too long ago. I've got no memory of it. Well, apart from like Bird I was with back then, but obviously I'm not going to talk about that, am I?
I can't remember.
I can't remember what else. I remember used to. What kind of stuff did we play? Like Trans-X Living on Video. Do you remember that one? That's a song I used to play back then.
Trans-X. No, can't remember that one.
Trans-X Living on Video. But now you realise it was kind of like transvestite. It probably meant, didn't it? Trans-X.
I don't know. I really don't know. But what I do remember is you were the first person that really introduced me to music. Before that, I'd never really been bothered about music. In fact, to be honest, after you introduced me to it, I wasn't that fucking bothered. But whatever you were listening to became what I was listening to, because we were fucking always at the same place, weren't we? So you know,
I think if we'd have not met, you would have been a mod. I
I
think you were
don't
close to being a mod, weren't you?
think I'd have been a mod. Me?
You were into Fergal Sharky.
Yeah, right. You're right. Yeah, you were. I were. Yeah, a lot.
Oh dear. Well, I've got an idea, Heath. I know it took a long while to persuade you to come on air and have a chat with us, but being as you've got much better knowledge of Jason than all the rest of us, I think what we ought to do one night is get you on to interview Jason, because I think we get some real gems out of that one.
Bloody hell! I'd have to have a lot of notes. I got a memory like a sieve. What do you think of that idea, then, Jason?
You know me. Anything for a bit of self-publicity.
You need your inhaler.
I fucking need it now.
What? Just Fergal Sharky? Is that all it takes?
Fergal Sharky. Just Fergal Sharky. Jesus Christ. Drink, listeners.
Yeah. For anyone, it was in the undertones. They were a bit muddy, weren't they?
I don't know. I'm only into Fergal Sharky.
When it was solo.
I got one of his albums at Christmas. You know,
it's more street cred than if you were into Shaky, though. Let's face it.
True, into look.
I think Danielle should be your assistant on the show, where like the social media, you know, like someone to just gather all the best things that everyone's, you know, all the comments and then all the chats and stuff, and then you just kind of pant, and then she'll just read out all the best comments and stuff, because it's hard for you guys to interview someone and also analyze all the comments at the same time. It's impossible, isn't it? You're going to disconnect from the guest if you're looking at them. So I think you need, like, what's he called, the American DJ guy with his assistant in the booth.
Howard Stern,
exactly like that. You need the girl in the booth that goes, yeah, and you know.
Oh yeah, but you see, the thing is Danielle's white.
Ah, right. Well, a bit like James Whale used to have his producer. What was his name? Ash. He was always chipping in with bits and bobs.
Yeah.
Me. But the thing is, if you get Danielle doing that, I'll be out of a job, mate.
Well, no, but you'll be kind of more engaged and you'll be interviewing the guests. You know, like
you have brought up one of the most difficult aspects of this. This whole thing, because
it's difficult. I appreciate it.
Yeah, the weird thing is you'll be having a conversation with somebody, and then you'll suddenly see a comment in the chat room or wherever it is, and you look at it and you start reading it, and somebody will suddenly then say, "What do you think, Andy?" And you're like, "No idea. I wasn't listening. What did you say?"
Yeah, exactly. I've seen it. That's why I mentioned it. You need someone that's you know, just to take care of all that, so you can crack on with interviewing the guest. That's, of course, if Danielle wants the job. I'm sure she'll do a very good job of it.
She don't want job, lads. I've got to be honest with you. She's not bothered about job. She says it don't pay enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the pay is pretty lousy. Oh, we got Paula Parker joined us in Facebook. Hiya, Paula. I hope things are going well with you. Yeah, we had Paula on the show. Whoa, way back. I think we had Paula on the show with Guy, actually. So that was about 18 months, 2 years ago.
Heath,
I had a dream a few months ago that we all went out to Owen's in Portugal, and we smoked all his weed, and we got absolutely trashed, and we slept in tents and had barbecues and stuff. Any chance of that happening for real?
Sounds like a good plan, doesn't it?
Oh, wouldn't that be amazing?
Dream. Sounds like a good dream.
Fucking does.
Do you know, the more and more I look at you, Heath, the more and more you look like Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
Mm.
Fuck.
You poor cunt.
I was going to say, fucking hell, that's not a nice thing to say, Jason.
Listen, you know, I give him some condolence for it. So
Was that helpful advice, or was it born out of comedy?
that was just helpful advice.
Bastard.
Oh dear.
Well, I'm going to get some new gigs then.
Yes, you definitely need to. Everyone's got the same gigs. I mean, I've got these gigs were what? How much? $1.99 or something.
I'm going to get some rimless gigs.
B&M bargains. Bang on. So we've got about 10 minutes left before we have to wrap up, Heath.
Fucking hell, we made it. We did the 2 hours.
It was going to be easy, weren't it?
No idea. No idea. Alcohol helps, though, doesn't it?
Every little helps. So what about Danielle says it's been really interesting. So she's got a fan back there. She's been listening the whole way through.
Does she not normally listen then?
Oh, well, she didn't until the studio had to come downstairs, and now she does. So
does have no choice.
She has no choice. So she does listen, and she doesn't have no choice. And she, you know, to be fair, she's took it on chin.
It's a bit more coercive than when he's here in person.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's got some interesting things to say other than just noises.
Yeah, than on the tablet or on the phone or whatever.
No, when you're here in person.
When you're here in person, she means.
Oh, I'm due a visit. I'll come down. Last one was just a flyer to come and bring you a book because she was staying in hospital for 10 weeks and then you got out.
For a week.
I want my book back.
He scammed a book out you with that 10 weeks, did he, Heath? I mean, yeah. 10 weeks in hospital, then bloody week later, I'm at home.
Well, I just get to charity shop, mate. No worries. They love books there, don't they?
Listen, that's what they fucking told me. I was shitting myself thinking to myself, fucking 10 weeks in hospital, stuck with them fucking Mardy cunts. All fucking pain. And, you know, I don't mind my own wailing, but, you know, other people's wailing, you don't want to listen to, do you?
No. Oh, that guy's toes, the black toes, man. Oh, I had nightmares about that.
Do you know that, guys? I went in. You know, when I went into the hospital to have my staples taken out of my stump. When I was waiting, I had a little bit of a roam round to see who was still in from when I'd been in, and he was still in there, and he just had an operation on his toe, and his toes were getting a lot better. So,
did he have them chopped or just?
No, he didn't have it chopped. He had them revasculated, so that appears to have worked for him.
Wow, they look well beyond repair, didn't they?
Well, they were fucked, weren't they? It weren't toes, were it? It were like, you know when your mum used to have a fucking chip pan, and then there'd be a chip pan, there'd be a chip under bottom of fucking net that would be in there for about 20.
Exactly like that, yeah.
In black. That's what them toes look like.
Fucking chip pan.
Well, what else? Where else can you go? Where else can you go?
That's a good reference.
That's where the future is. No, but they got better. So yeah, good luck to him. Well, fucking hell. He's got plenty. He's got plenty of good luck. He's got them fucking toes revasculated. They were like back to McDonald's fries again. I've just had another thing in my head, and then you said something, and it went. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Oh, you were right. When I were at the visiting you at the hospital, where you said the road was, it was there. But only thing is that the road to it wasn't there. There was only like an emergency ambulance only lane. So
Right.
no pedestrians allowed. So obviously I had to go down there. But no vehicles came up. But yeah, I found the car. It took about 25 minutes to find the car.
25 minutes to find your car.
At a hospital, yeah.
That's
That's a lot of car parks, man. Too many car parks.
When I put it on my phone thing, and it said it was 2.3 minutes away, walking, fucking walking.
But there was no. There's only like a. If an ambulance had come flying up with emergency, I'd have fucking had to jump in bushes because there was no pavement. It was just it was enough road for an ambulance to fly up, and that was it. So I'm like fucking, very creeping fucking down it to get down this bit.
Well, I would have gone for bushes, me.
I was born at that hospital.
Anyway, we're not in there, and it weren't 10 weeks, so that's awesome. And a big thanks for coming down as well. I were really, obviously, really touched by you coming down and bringing me that book, which I've not read yet, but I'm going to.
I didn't bring out else, did I?
No else. Oh, dear me.
Yeah, some private conversations after that one.
1 or 2.
Were it any good?
Hey, it was okay. Yeah,
that means it was wank, doesn't it?
No, it was good. No, it were okay.
Right.
It was okay. It helped a lot. It helped a lot because I'd not had hope for Yonkers.
Yeah. It's not easy to source stump cream at such a short notice.
Well, I know, but you pulled it out for me, didn't you? You went the extra mile, and I think. Do you know the one thing about being ill and being at home is you're watching fucking telly, right? And everything's a funeral plan. Put this, but over 50s funeral plan. Over 50s funeral plan.
You started noticing it, do you?
Huh?
You started noticing.
Yeah, because that is all it is all the time. It's just funeral plans. Funeral this, your funeral. Where am I going to get £3,500 for a funeral? And I thought to myself, other day, hang on a minute. I've already fucking started for him. I should get a discount. I'm assuming that my lower left leg has been incinerated, so I've already fucking started job. I should get
20% off, shouldn't you?
I should get fucking more than that. 50% off. Oh dear.
What do you get? A pen?
You get a pen, and also when you get to 80, you can cash it in. You can cash it in for half the premium, for half the whatever the benefit amount, and the benefit amount is usually about £4,000. So you're cashing it in at 80. So if you last to 80, you can cash it in for £2,000 and think, fucking kids, they're all dead. It's going to be grandkids that are going to bury me now.
Sounds a bit like open the box, doesn't it?
And it's £2,000. I've paid 30 years into this pack thing for £2,000. Absolutely ridiculous. But that's what you notice when you're off work. Well, I've been off work I'm going to be off work forever, but looks at it. Anyway,
cool, man.
We are right at the very end of the show. Andy,
5 minutes to go. We made it.
Are you going to? I'm just going to find a record. So why don't you chip in with anything that you might need to say before we go?
I've just had a thoroughly enjoyable evening sitting listening to you two having a natter, and I consider it a privilege to be able to join in on that. I thought I was just sitting back here pressing the buttons, and you two would be going out at hammer and tongs. So I consider myself privileged to being allowed to join in that. It was a great chat. Thanks so much, mate.
You're a nice guy, mate, and I enjoy talking to you, and I hope we can hook up and have a beer sometime.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I'd really, really like that. Yeah.
And the other guys as well, Paul and Aid, lovely guys, lovely guys. I'd love to meet you all and have a good old, piss up and a doobie.
Yeah, that's definitely on the agenda for some time in the future. And for Super Leads, if you're listening tonight but not in the chat, you asked last night which was best night to come to Home First, Saturday or Sunday, and Jason said he's going to be there both days, so it doesn't really matter. Pick whichever day suits you best, mate.
Oh, keep pressing the wrong fucking buttons on here. Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ. Right, anyway, what we got? Have we got anything lined up for tomorrow?
Not as yet.
Okay, well, we'll get something lined up because we need to have a show tomorrow night. So we will get something lined up for tomorrow evening. Whether it's, do you know, I've been looking at putting together a show, just a one-man show sort of thing for the last few weeks. So I might see if I can finish that off, and I'll do that tomorrow. If not, it'll be another time. But we'll definitely have something online tomorrow for our show, our 7 till 9 show. So listen, thanks to everybody in the chat room. I forgot to thank you last week, all the people in the chat room on YouTube and Google, and all the people in the chat room on Facebook Live as well. It's been a privilege talking to you. It's been a privilege talking to you, Heath, even though I've talked to you like 90 million times before, but always is. And it's been a privilege to co-host with you, Andy. So we'll play out with this record, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Take it easy.
Good night.
I'm gonna have some fun with this one here.
Woohoo!
In the morning, when I wake up, all I want is Mary Joanna. In the evening, when I'm thinking, all I want is Mary Joanna. If you look in my eyes, you will see what I've done. Every minute, every hour of every day. Life is like a smoke. In the end, I'm gonna choke. So all I do is live my life from day to day.
Oh my God, you know you better watch yourself because I know you and the one, cause I tell it you calls and none, cause you know the one I said, you let me see you do the run, the one that they clean, the one that, cause I know you cannot bring me now what you want to do, cause I'm about to break it down, cause you know you cannot trade me now, let you want now, you better back of the night, because I'm telling you, what bar, bun bar, can I wonder. Because the Lord, you like the way you put that pick up. Because I'm telling all you fools what I put up. And in the mercy. Now what you want to do. And in the mercy. Now what you want to do. And in the mercy. Now what you want to do. And in the mercy.
If you look in my eyes, you will see what I've done. Every minute, every hour of every day. But life is like a smoke. In the end, I'm gonna choke. So all I do is live my life from day to day. You got to lick it, stick it, bend it, ice it, stack it, burn it, pack it, roll it, poke it, roach it, smoke it, then you pass it. You got to lick it, stick it, crease it, stack it, burn it, pack it, roll it, poke it, roach it, smoke it, pass it to me.
Come on, baby girl, let's get it going on. I'ma hit the highway and do it my way. It ain't no game, girl, so I don't play games. I keep it up straight, right up in your face. So make your mind up, cause life is too short. I got the vest on, boy, put your belt on. Stop acting all cool like Kanye West, boy. You be riding through the wire and the camera get on fire. You don't want that, no, I don't want that, no. Goes up, beams and chicks so slow. Hit the backseat when you're doing the licking, kissing, squeezing. Do the damn thing, man.
You got to lick it, stick it, bend it, press it, stack it, burn it, pack it, roll it. and burn it, pack it, roll. All I want is roach and smoke, marry Joanna to me. You got to lift it, stick it, bend it. When I wake up, burn it, pack it, roll. All I want is roach and smoke, marry Joanna to me. In the evening, stick it, bend it. When I'm sick and burn it, pack it, roll. All I want is roach and smoke, marry Joanna to me.